is going on, guys? You're talking to the cat, and just so you guys know, this is Karis. This is the one that 9 times out of 10 I talk to when you guys hear me on stream talking to a cat. But welcome in, guys. It's K Dog's Kennel alongside Holly's Adventures for another episode of NFL Picks. And boy, we're dwindling. We are down to the final 8 teams that will vie for Super Bowl 58 this year. As we have the divisional round of the playoffs starting Saturday afternoon. And so, recapping last week, both of us didn't do too great last week. We both went 2-4 last week, um, bringing my record to 159 and 101 on the year. Holly's record goes to 141 and 103. Obviously, with 4 games this week, you know, not not a whole lot as far as game wise, obviously. But I think we've got 4 very interesting games, but for various reasons. And we're going to start this off with the number 4 seeded Houston Texans traveling to Baltimore to face the number 1 seeded Baltimore Ravens in the AFC East. I think this game is going to be a lot closer than a lot of people are giving Houston credit for. I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, Houston's going to get destroyed. Houston's going to get dominated." I wouldn't go as far as to say they're going to get dominated. Um, I do have Baltimore winning this game because I do think Baltimore is the better team. But I do feel that the Texans and CJ Stroud are going to keep this game close, a lot closer than people think. Ideally, I'd love to see Houston win, um, just because Houston's never been past the divisional round. They've never been to an AFC Championship game, so for them to knock off Baltimore would be really amazing. But at the end of the day, I've got to go with the better team in this. That being Baltimore, they're the number 1 seed in the AFC for a reason. They've dominated all season long. And yeah, like I said, I think CJ Stroud and the Texans keep it close, but I'm going to go with Baltimore, showing why they're the number 1 seed with a win at home.
Yeah, I think Baltimore overall has the better offense and defense. Not saying that Detroit. Oh boy, we'll get to
Yeah.
Detroit shortly. Not saying that Houston doesn't have that. Um, I just don't think they have what it takes to take on Baltimore. So I'm going to go with Baltimore on this one.
Baltimore.
Oh
All
hell
right.
no!
And then in Saturday's nightcap, we have the team that made the most noise in the playoffs last weekend, the number 7 seeded Green Bay Packers, traveling to San Francisco to face the number 1 seeded San Francisco 49ers. Oh boy, where really to begin with this game? Green Bay last week made history, knocked off the Cowboys, became the first number 7 seed to do so. I don't say that to throw salt. People were like, "Oh, I bet you gave Holly a bunch of crap for Dallas losing." No, I really didn't. Because I knew one of our teams had to lose. I had called it if there was going to be an upset in the wild card round, it was going to be Green Bay over Dallas, being the fact that Dallas has a tendency to choke in the playoffs. Green Bay, I watched a majority of that game. From the word go, from that first touchdown, that game just seemed different. And it just seemed like even after the first touchdown, it let the air out of Dallas's sails. Now, I don't know why, but Green Bay looked amazing in that game. Despite the fact that it was 48-32, don't let the final score fool you. That game was put out of commission long ago, but Green Bay made the mistake of setting down their starters, which kind of pissed Dallas off, which caused them to rally. I remember Holly even called me and she's like, "Hey, this game's not over yet. We just got 2 touchdowns." I'm like, "Oh, I know." I'm like, I don't even want to think about blowing this lead. But Green Bay is we're playing with house money. I've said this so many times. So many people keep telling me, "Oh, I bet you're going to be mad when the 49ers whoop Green Bay." No, I'm not. Is it going to hurt? Yeah, it will to get to the final 8 and to lose. It's not going to feel good. But like I said, Green Bay in this game is playing with house money. youngest team in the league, playing a well-rested 49ers team that have essentially had 2 weeks off. They rested all their starters for the Rams game at the end of the season. So essentially, San Francisco has 2 weeks, has had 2 weeks to prep for this. Everything against me, per se, I know San Francisco is probably going to win this game, but you know what? I'll eat a pick here because I'm taking the Packers. I'm taking if anybody can knock out the 49ers, it's
It
the
can be the
Packers.
Packers.
It's going to be Green Bay. And you know what? Like I said, I'm probably off my rocker. I'm probably going to eat a loss on this, but you know what? My team's one of the final 8, and you know what? They've made noise already. I think it's going to be a close game. Everybody's like, "Oh, San Francisco's going to win like 80-0." I don't think it's going to be that bad by any means. But yes, I think San Francisco does have the better team. But I just look at that game with Dallas and how red hot Green Bay came out. If they play the way they did against Dallas, I think Green Bay's got a shot. Like I said, I'm crazy. I know I'm crazy, but I'm taking the Packers. I've got to roll with my team for this week. Like I said, I'll eat a loss. I don't care, but I gotta take my Packers on the road in a major upset.
You know, I'm going to go with you on this one. If anybody can take out the 49ers, it's going to be the Packers. And I can't stand the 49ers. Can't stand it. So you know what? Let's go Green Bay.
Oh, I'll eat a loss on this one. Everybody's like, oh yeah, they can't hang with San Francisco. You know what? They said the same thing about Dallas, that Green Bay wasn't going to be able to hang with them. And not only did they hang with them, they
They whooped
socked them in
their
the mouth.
ass.
They socked them in the mouth. And like I said, just to think, if we can get past San Francisco, I think Green Bay is capable of beating Tampa Bay but Tampa Bay or Detroit. So granted, Green Bay would go on the road, obviously, but how amazing would that be for a Green Bay Detroit NFC title game, an NFC North NFC title game? That'd be a win-win. I mean, obviously, if Green Bay would win, they go to the Super Bowl. But if they lost,
Hey,
Detroit would go
quit
to their
knocking my
first
tea
ever Super
over.
Bowl. That's a win-win. Speaking of Detroit, we have the number 4 seeded Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the 3 seeded Detroit Lions. Um, Boy, Tampa Bay beat the living crap out of Philadelphia. Philadelphia, everybody talked about Dallas. They crumbled and they fell apart. They collapsed. Okay, Dallas did that in one
At
game.
least Dallas showed up to their game. The Eagles did not.
Well, and it's one of those. Dallas collapsed in one game. The Eagles started 10-1 and then lost 5 of their last 6 games. So if anybody wants to throw shade, oh, Dallas, they had the worst collapse. No, they didn't. Yeah, they had a bad game. Dallas at least
You know
won their
what?
division.
Dallas is keeping their head coach too, by the way.
I did see that. I was really wondering because there was a lot of rumors that Mike McCarthy was going to get fired and Jerry Jones was going to try to bring in Bill Belichick because I guess they're buddies or whatever. But the Cowboys are going to retain Mike McCarthy, which I mean, not saying it's that's a bad move, but and Mike McCarthy said it best with that loss to Green Bay. He said, we picked a bad day to have, or we picked a bad time to have a bad day. But Tampa Bay and Detroit. Tampa was just there a couple years ago. When Tom Brady was there. Kudos to Baker Mayfield. He's done really well. The Bucks got a big win over Philly. My heart's with Detroit with this, and I think with Detroit I thought it was hilarious. There was a reporter asking Buccaneers head coach Todd Bowles about the weather in Detroit because it's going to be cold in Detroit, and Todd Bowles just kind of laughed and he's like, we play them in a dome, right? The Lions play in a dome, so the weather is not going to have any adverse effect on them whatsoever. I just thought that was actually kind of funny. But for this, yeah, I'm going to take Detroit at home. I think I'd love to see Detroit in the NFC. I think they've got a shot against Green Bay if Green Bay gets there. If San Francisco wins, I look for San Francisco to steamroll their way into the Super Bowl. But my heart and soul is with Detroit in this one. Like I said, I'd love to see them get to the NFC title game. unless it's against the Packers, I'd love to see him get to the Super Bowl. But for the divisional round, I'm taking Detroit at home.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to make lunch at the same time. It's not working very
Oh
well.
no, you're good.
We're having steak and mac and cheese, so that's a good combination there.
So I had Sherry made goulash last night.
Ooh, I love
So yeah, I had.
goulash. Anywho,
I know,
uh,
right?
getting back on track here. I think Tampa Bay got lucky with their win against the Eagles. Now, however, I don't know. Was Jalen Hurts playing or was
Yeah,
he out? Okay.
no, Hurts was playing. Yeah, AJ Brown was out, I think, with an injury, but yeah,
Uh,
Jalen played that whole game.
okay. Because I was going to say that may have been a key factor, but then if he's playing, because I know he's been playing hurt, but
Yeah,
even still, I think Tampa Bay got lucky on that one. So I'm going to go with Detroit just because I want to see Detroit make history and go to the Super Bowl.
yeah. I mean, yeah, Detroit. I mean, the Rams almost beat them. I mean, I picked LA. I thought, hey, the Rams were going to upset Detroit. Not meant to be. Thank God. I was rooting for Detroit, but I picked the Rams last week. That ended up being a fail. And then on Sunday night, we wrap up the divisional round with the 3-seeded Kansas City Chiefs taking on the 2-seeded Buffalo Bills. The Josh Allen Patrick Mahomes rivalry. This is I almost feel like this is a Tom Brady Peyton Manning rivalry revisited, if you will.
A
Tom
Wild
Brady.
Wild West, if you can see. If you
Yeah. And the um last time these two teams met in the playoffs, it was an absolute barn burner with the Chiefs winning the game in overtime. It seems like anytime Buffalo and Kansas City play, it's always in Kansas City, and Kansas City gets the nod, that gets the W. However, this one's in Buffalo. And it's not that I think Kansas City cannot win this game. I just think Buffalo is a very dangerous team right now. And I think Buffalo, it's going to be a high scoring game. I think, uh, the Chiefs have been so up and down the last few weeks. Um, they blew out, not really blew, well, they kind of blew out Miami, but Miami was without a lot of key defensive starters and whatnot. So, take nothing away from Kansas City. They're a fantastic team, but I'm going to give the nod to Buffalo at home, mainly because I'm tired of seeing Kansas City in the AFC title game, tired of seeing them, sniffing around the Super Bowl. I want to see Buffalo has not been to a Super Bowl since Super Bowl 28, which has been a long time when they lost to Dallas. Buffalo is still the only team in NFL history to make it to 4 straight Super Bowls and lose all of them. The Giants, the Redskins, well, the Commanders back when they were the Redskins, and then they lost twice to Dallas. Since then, they've never been there. I think this is the opportunistic time for Buffalo to make a run for it. If they play the Ravens in the AFC Championship game, that's going to be a tall task. But I'm going to take, because of Kansas City's inconsistencies, I'm going to take Buffalo at home in this game.
I'm watching y'all, especially this one.
Aw.
He'll come in and steal the food. I think
Come here.
so. Kansas City. Like you said, I'm tired of them being headlines, this, that, and the other. Patrick Mahomes this, Patrick Mahomes that. If anybody has that chance to knock them out of a Super Bowl chase, I think it's going to be Buffalo. And I really would like to see Buffalo come out. Even if they don't win, I would still like to see them make the Super Bowl. But you know what? I mean, it is what it is. But I would like to see Buffalo knock out KC, and that's who we were going to go with, is Buffalo.
Buffalo, what, honey? Mwah. All right, so Holly has got Buffalo. So we match on picks this week. Recapping, we have the Ravens over the Texans, the Packers over the 49ers. Probably a long shot, but you know what? I got to go with my team. They're in it to win it. We have the Lions over the Buccaneers and the Bills over the Chiefs. And guys, unfortunately, like I said, when you only got 4 games to talk about, it's not going to take too long. Next week, we will break down the conference championship games. And then after that, we have the Pro Bowl, which I could give the left side of a rat's testicle about the Pro Bowl. Means nothing to me. And
Not
then,
anymore. Not since they treat it like flag football.
yeah, yeah. So we're not gonna what? Oh, you want to say hi, Carrots? Oh, say hi, Carrots. Carrots, say hi. Say hi,
Meow.
Carrots. Look at that sweet face. Such a sweet face. Such a sweet face. But then after the in 2 weeks, after next week in 2 weeks, we will break down Super Bowl 58 and give our Super Bowl pick for that. So, like I said, guys, kind of a short video, but like I said, when you only have 4 games to discuss, it's doesn't take
Pretty
much.
short.
But as always, I want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys subscribe to both myself and the Holly's Adventures and join the rest of us here in the FTCC. I know Holly on her page has a link to our Discord. Feel free to join. Um, Plumberry Delicious has done an amazing job on our Discord page. I know she's got an application setup thing for people to apply to join. If you are an up and coming streamer, or if you're just a streamer in general that want a tight knit community, a family, if you will, to support you, and if you're willing to support everybody in the community, we would love to have you guys. We're growing by the day, and I love it. I love what
It's
we're
gotten
building.
bigger than what I was expecting it to really get to.
Yeah, I kind of thought, I'm like, man, if we get like 5, 10 people, that'd be great. I don't know exactly how many we're up to, but I think we're
It's
over like
over
20.
20. It's over
Yeah.
20.
Yeah. So I mean, it's amazing. Like I said, the 2 things I said when I became a content creator, I wanted to make good videos, and I wanted to have a strong community, to call my own per se, and that's what we've done in the FTCC. So make sure join that. Like I said,
I need a flag. The
I know,
founding
right?
forefather here. Founding
Right.
forefather.
I have potential spam calling me. No, thank you.
Oh, you don't want to tell him where the body's located?
Yeah. Maybe tomorrow. No, but
Oh,
in any event, as I got Karis's tail in my face now, make sure you guys, like I said, subscribe to me and Holly. Give this video a thumbs up if you would. It does help both of our channels grow. And I will be back here in just a little bit. I mentioned in my last Final Fantasy VI video, I want to do an Evil Within walkthrough because I just got all of the DLC for like $5, which is like super cool. And I've only played through the DLC like once. So, but I might even start that today as well. I've got a few hours till the missus gets home. So, that being said, guys, thank you for watching, and we will catch you guys in our next respective videos. Take care, and we'll catch you guys in our next videos. Take care.